Hello and welcome to this tutorial on what we're going to call conferences. It's a feature within Canvas, and it is going to be our solution to doing those student presentations. Now, if you remember, if you've been here for a while, we used MoveNote at one time, then we went from MoveNote and we went to Present Me. Well, we liked Present Me. It was pretty much glitch free, but Present Me has decided to exit business. So apparently their business model was not working out for them and they decided to close up shop. So this left us without any presentation ability for our students. Well, luckily with Canvas, we have found an embedded feature, embedded, that's critical. It's already a part of Canvas that does everything that we want to do with student presentations and even more. I mean, it really could have a lot of applications outside of the presentation mode. It also solves, or looks like it solves, a problem that we had with doing asynchronous group student presentations. So let's say you've got some students who want to do a group presentation. If you decide to do group presentations in your class, and you want to have them each present a little piece. Maybe one does slides 1 and 2, the other one does 3 and 4, and the other one does 5 and 6. Okay, how do you do that? Well, we couldn't do that in Present Me. That had to be basically that fit the single student, single presentation, single shot style. This one looks like it will handle that in an asynchronous or synchronous mode for that group project, in addition to still doing the standard single student, single shot presentation. So it can do quite a bit, it looks like, and does it. And what I've been able to play with it does it very well. And the fact that it's embedded in Canvas, even better. No separate accounts to worry about. No having students log on to websites or you getting links and giving them links and all of this stuff. It just all works, knock on wood, apparently within Canvas. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, the focus of this tutorial is to show you, the instructor, on what this is and how it's being used. I will shoot a separate video, a separate tutorial for students, kind of student oriented, to that you can use if you wish for presentations, but it'll be relatively similar. Now, you want to know how this works, though, because you're going to be the front line on getting questions about this. That's just the way it always is. So I want you to have some knowledge about what we're doing and how you might want to implement this within your course for those student presentations, either single student or group presentations. And that could be group, either synchronous, done by the group synchronously, or done by the group asynchronous. No matter what, students will be able to view these presentations asynchronously. So there you go. A lot of words I've thrown at you. But for any of you that have used Citrix, GoToMeeting, any kind of webinar software, that's basically what this is. We're using a webinar application to record a presentation. So it's very, very cool. Hence the name, conferences. That's the name of the feature within Canvas. All right, well, let's take a look. I'm going to start from the very beginning and show you how to get the conferences set up in your course and how students are going to walk through and do a conference, or AKA, also known as, again, we're going to call it the student presentation. The old oral presentation. This is their version of an oral presentation of standing in front of a class and giving a presentation on whatever they're doing. All right, well, let's take a look at that. Let's get my picture off of here, and we're going to start by just opening up your web browser. I'm going to go through the basics here. From the very beginning. So bear with me here. I know some of you are a little bit more advanced with Canvas than others, and I might fumble around and make a couple mistakes here, but here we go. All right, so you're going to log on to Canvas. Hopefully you have that bookmarked and you can get right in there. Hopefully, too, you have taken the Canvas faculty training, which doesn't take too long, but should give you a general familiarity with Canvas. All right, now I got a bunch of classes here, but I've been playing with this in a class called Faculty Resources. This is going to be, you'll be loaded into our Faculty Resource Center for those of you that are in our HCA program. So stay tuned on that, but I'm just using this as my sandbox to play around with that. All right, so within any course within Canvas, you have a navigation located on the left-hand side. You'll notice the navigation has some items that are dark and some items that are light in color. The ones that are light in color, students cannot see. If you'll notice on here, there is a light in color where it's called, where is it? Conferences, right up there. It's light. So any student logging on to their course will not be able to see that. If you are using this, you obviously need to let them see that function, that functionality. So what do? You go into settings, and this is where you can customize your navigation menu. No, in the future, we're probably going to have a standard navigation of some sort, so we're not all different. But I mean, there'll be customizable pieces in there, but right now it's kind of the Wild West, and we're all kind of different. But we're just trying to get through Canvas rollout for this fall. But what you want to do is just simply go to navigation under that settings feature, and you can basically read. It just says drag and drop items to reorder them in course navigation. Drag items here to hide them from students. So I want to unhide something. So I'm going to take that conferences. I'm going to drag it up, and I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it. Do I want it here? Nah, I'll put it down here. I want it right there. Boom. All right, so now it will be visible to students as long as I scroll down and hit save. I forget to do that all the time and wonder why it didn't save. Hit save, and now notice how it's a little bit darker, meaning that it's going to be visible to students when they log on. They're going to see those features in there. I will take a quick side note. If there are any weird features showing up that you don't want students to even know about, do the same, drag them off, drag them down to hide them so they don't get confused. I try to keep my navigation down to the things that are actually being used in the course so they don't click on these buttons that are pretty much not even being applied to the course. All right, so students will pop onto your course. They'll see your modules. They see your conferences. You might have discussions in there as well, or who knows what else you're going to have. But they're going to see the conferences if you are doing the presentations within your course. So they're simply going to click on conferences. And you can see here I've been playing around a little bit, adding some conferences, deleting conferences as I'm going. But there's this section on here which will show all the conferences created by your students throughout the class. You're going to simply instruct them, or in the tutorial will instruct them to click the new conference button. Now, from within here, they'll want to do some things, and this is kind of up to you on how you want to do it. Their recorded, again, conference/presentation can be named whatever you want. For organization of the presentations, you probably want to give them some specific naming protocol, project one, I don't know, PRO, project one, and first name, last name, maybe something like that. Okay. So when you see them all lined up in there, it's easy at a glance for you to see whose projects and whose presentations are where within the course. All right, so they're going to want to do some naming convention, and here is my recommendation. This for sanity's sake and knowing whose presentation is what. You're going to want to leave the big blue button alone, so they're going to want to leave that alone. That is the behind-the-scenes application that's making all the magic happen. Duration. Okay, so the duration of the conference or presentation can be set to anything or nothing. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. If you're just doing a single shot, single student presentation, leave it at 60 minutes, it's fine. If you're having students record, a group presentation and each one is putting in their part, you will want to have no time limit because you're going to let that conference run for a period of time. Now, the question is, how long will it run before it shuts out? I don't know. I'm probably going to tell students that all components with the presentation must be recorded within 24 hours. So student one will do theirs, student two will do their thing, like late afternoon, and the third student, after they get off work, they'll do their thing at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. But I'm probably going to give them a time limit just because I'm a little worried about how long this application will truly leave it open-ended. The other thing that they're going to want to do is to enable conference recording. That's the magic. It's going to make this all happen. So they'll want to do that. All right. So again, if it's a single student, single shot, you don't need to worry about the time limit. You just leave that one off. If you're doing a group presentation and you want them to each do a little part, they will want to leave no time limit. All right. In this case, I'm just going to do a single student, single presentation, a single presenter, I should say. Straight shot. That's going to be, nothing's going to run over 60 minutes. So, and you can always put your own limits on whatever, usually 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the presentation, in your grading rubric. All right, so you've got that. There's this description area. The description is a kind of a subfield below the name. So let's say if you wanted to, whatever, I mean, you could do, you may want to do this. Again, pick your own naming convention. Maybe it's the name is actually the student's name, and the description is Project 1. And you'll see how this looks in just a minute. All right, so I'm double checking here. I got that. I've got my enabling recording for this conference. And this button is kind of critical too. Invite all course members. So if I left that link, if I let that check mark box go, as soon as I hit update, it's going to shoot out an email to everybody in the class saying, hey, there's a new conference going on right now. Click to join. Okay. And then it could cause a lot of confusion as 30 or 40 people rush to join a conference they know nothing about. What you will want to make sure students do is deselect that. So you will not want anybody out of our little class. Now here we have a very small class, but imagine you have 30, 40 people in here. They're going to just want to invite members. If you're doing a group presentation, they'll want to invite members who are part of that. So let's say, oh, Kim's a part of my group. I'm going to invite Kim. Kim's going to get an email letting her know that, hey, the conference is live. And as soon as I get off work, I know Chris is doing his part right now. I'm going to shoot my part. And then, Dan's also in our group. He's going to shoot his part later on tonight, and we'll be done with it. You could do that to basically give a heads up to the group members. Again, if you're only doing that group project. All right, but make sure that that has been deselected so you're not pushing it out to 30 people. I've already made that mistake and have had quite a few of these people log on as I've been experimenting with Canvas, wondering what I'm doing over here, which is kind of cool. So as you're thinking too, you're thinking, oh, I could use this for interactive conferences. Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's really for. It really is for these interactive conferences. We're just using it to record a conference as a presentation, which also works very, very well. All right, so I think I'm good. I'm inviting no one because I am just doing my own presentation because my instructor wants that. And I'm going to hit update. All right, as you can see here, Chris Gibbons has a Project 1. Notice how that is right below that name. That might be kind of a neat convention to do it that way. And all I need to do to start my conference is hit the start button. Now the gear icon, I can go in there and edit some things. Let's say I wanted to edit the name. I can go back to that edit menu. I could change some stuff up. I'm not going to. I could delete it as well. We're not going to have them necessarily delete that. So all I'm going to do is hit start, and the magic is going to happen. Now it's going to be downloading a little bit onto, I don't know if it's cookies or what it's putting on my computer, but it is loading some modules within my web browser. I am using Chrome. This thing apparently is completely browser oriented. It's not sticking anything on my computer. So that's a plus. That seems to work pretty seamlessly so far. Now, how do I want to join? Again, for those of you that have been to a conference, that's kind of like the normal. In this case, it's always going to be microphone. So again, I'm a presenter. I need a microphone. And we are detecting some connectivity problems. Hold on 1 second. It's going to reconnect here in just a moment. I am running a lot of bandwidth right now through a bunch of different things. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to click the microphone, and it wants permission to use my microphone. I'm going to say allow. It's actually, you may not be able to hear this, but it's doing a test, and I can hear the test, and it sounds real good. So I'm going to hit the yes, and I'm good there. All right, so you probably, as you saw there, it recommended using maybe a earbuds or a headset. I would recommend that students use a headset like what you normally see me with. So they run about $10. I think that's going to cut down on echo, and that's going to make it a little bit more audible for when they're talking. So that's going to be our general recommendation, is that they use a headset. They may be able to get by just fine with the built-in microphone, but my guess probably not. So I guess to be on the safe side, we're going to recommend headset, and they can go from there. All right, so there we go. Again, they're cheap. They're around about 10 bucks. All right, so it's telling me that I can record the meeting. It's letting me know that I've got, you must click the start stop recording button in the title bar to begin recording. So we're going to make sure they understand that they need to record. Now, there's a couple things I need to do before I am lights, camera, action, ready. One is to turn on my webcam. So I'm going to go to the webcam feature here. I'm going to choose a webcam. Now as you saw, I'm using screen capture software on top of webinar software. So I'm using one camera. I'm using camera 1 for talking to you. And I'm using camera 2. Hopefully I got 2 cameras. I'm going to use camera 2 for my presentation here. So I'm going to click camera 2 and hopefully it's going to work. All right, yep, good. It's asking me permission. I'm going to click allow. I'm going to click allow again. And hey, there it is, my backup camera. It's working on my backup camera. And I'm going to click start sharing. There you go. All right, so I'm going to appear down in the corner as I'm doing my presentation. But wait, I'm not completely done yet. What I need to do now is to load my PowerPoint. And that's relatively easy too, very similar to what we've done before. And it does seem to do a really good job with regular PowerPoint, no conversion necessary. I'm going to click Upload Presentation, that little file plus icon down there on the lower left, and I'm going to search for a file on my computer. Now I've been searching around. I can go to desktop. I can go to, I think I got a PowerPoint in here. There's an old PowerPoint. This is about 11 slides, and they are got some big pictures in there. So it's going to take a while to upload, not like half an hour, but can take a couple of minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got the right PowerPoint. That looks good. See how it lists it right there. And I'm going to hit upload. Going to let it do its thing. Actually going pretty quick right now. But I would warn students, and I'll do this in the video, that the upload can take a little bit. And you're probably going to limit, you probably won't be using 10 slides, maybe, might have 10 slides in here. And most people they don't use pictures as big as I do. Sometimes I use these relatively high-res pictures. You can see here it's now giving me a notice. The uploaded document is supported, starting to convert. So, and this was something that happened through PresentMe as well. It uploads and then converts it over into a much more friendly format. It's doing that right now. The conversion can take a couple of minutes. So I'm going to pause the video and let the conversion go through here and time that out. I'll report back to you on how long it took. Okay, I'm back. That took just under 2 minutes to convert 11 pretty graphic, intensive slides. So all done with that. You can see my PowerPoint presentation in here. I got 1 of 11 slides. Navigation is very easy just by advancing my slides. I have a laser pointer, as you can see, kind of little laser pointer, little laggy, but hey, it's there. And I've also got a pencil. I can write. The presenters can write on their presentations if they want. A little difficult, but they can do it. I like to use, I've been playing around with these shapes. I think that's kind of neat. I'd probably use a shape in there if I was wanting to draw attention to something, or not at all. Again, up to the student presenter, the group, how they want to use these. Easy to use, very intuitive features on here. You can change the colors, you can change the thickness of the line, all through a menu that you can see here that's popping in and out. Now the menu will not show when they do their final recorded version, so that's kind of cool too. So they don't see that menu going in and out. They just see kind of the nice, pretty version, all rendered out nice. All right, so I'm almost ready to record. I've got my PowerPoint loaded. My webcam is working, okay? I've already tested my audio. That's working. All I need to do now is to click this little target button up here to start recording. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to do my presentation. Are you sure you want to record? Yes. All right, it is recording. I'm recording the best presentation of my life in here. Again, I'm a single presenter. I'm not part of a group project. If I was a part of a group project, I would present for my 2 slides, or let's say I do 3. I'll do this slide, I'm talking, 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 simply clicking the advance button to advance through the slides. And if I if I was in a group, what I would do at this point is I would turn off the record by clicking deactivating the stop recording function. And then, and I'll go ahead and do that. There we go. Are you sure you want to stop recording the session? Yes. But remember that the session is not being recorded, but the session is still live. If I told it that the session was never going to end, remember that feature, that editable feature, where I could have it end in 60 minutes or I could have it end never. I would want it to end never, so my other fellow classmates could come in and record. Another classmate would pop in here, do the same thing, make sure their video and headset was working, and then they would click the little target button and pick up the recording again at that point. So I think that's really cool that they can come in, do the recording, each on their own time schedule, and produce this thing. That looks pretty cool. Or they could do it all together at once, which would look cool too, because you'd see all 3 people, all those 3 video feeds would appear right here. So that's kind of neat. Again, I'm just picking a typical group of maybe 3 students. 4 is a little rough, maybe 3 to 4 students. I don't know. All right, so I'm going through my presentation, and I'm talking and talking, and I'm double checking I am recording, because you don't want to go through a presentation and not record. And I'm going through my 11 slides, and it's the best presentation of all time. And I'm done with my presentation. I'm going to show people, hey, check out these great. Those are some awesome kicks down there. I want to get me some of those. Don't know what those are, but they look interesting. All right, so I'm done with my presentation. And at this point, I'm going to stop recording by clicking the little target button. Okay, so I'm done with that. And now I'm pretty much all set. I'm going to exit the session by clicking log out. And are you sure you want to log out? Yes. And a few things are going to happen behind the scenes. So let's go to conferences. They will need to go back into the conference for some reason. Even though we exited, they will need to go back into the conference and end it. Now, I think we had set this to end in 60 minutes. I think it would have ended then at that point. It also, we stopped recording as well, so that would have ended. But let's just end the conference for sure. Let's close the door, shut and lock the door on that by clicking end. All right, I will not be able to reopen it. Doom, 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 doom. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and click OK. All right, now you can see this conference has appeared in here. It's kind of grayed out. What is happening in the background is that it is creating the video. And I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to time this. It seems to take about 10 minutes before the recording shows up. If you notice down here on my practice ones, I actually have recordings in there. And it seems to take some time for it to render to create the recording. Let's give it some time to do that. Again, I'll pause the video. I'll come back. I'll report back to you on how long that presentation took to render out. And then we'll take a look at it and I'll show you how it looks. And that would be from the viewer's point of view, those peer reviews, those students that go back in and review this, how it looks. And I think you'll really like it. Okay, I am back. That took a little under 8 minutes for it to convert that recording to a viewable video. I did receive an email from Canvas letting me know that the recording was done. It said it basically sent me a quick little email. It said your recording of Chris Gibbons, remember that's what we named the presentation, for HCA Resource Center, that's the name of the class, is ready. So it told me that it was done. I then jumped back into the class, looked at those conferences and looked at the concluded conferences and saw that the Chris Gibbons is now showing, that's what we named it, that project one, remember that was the kind of the subcategory that I named it, and the single recording is all set in here. So what do the viewers need to do to view it? Oh, let me go back real quick. I think the email will go out to anyone who was invited to the conference. So if it's a single presenter, obviously only one person, and that one person is going to get the email letting them know that the video is done. If you had 2 or 3 in a group project, probably everybody's in that group project is going to get pushed out an email from Canvas letting them know that the video is done. Okay, so that answers that question. Now, for students looking at the video and for you looking at it and grading it, they're going to appear in this concluded conference area, and they will simply click on the name, and then that will pop open. You saw that little menu that kind of popped open right there, pops right open, and they will want to click View. That little weird little arrow icon with a box, this tells you that you're linking to an external site. The big blue button people, they're the ones that control this application. So really we are linking out of Canvas, but I think from the student's perspective, it looks like it's all integrated within, pretty much within Canvas. There's no separate logon or anything like that. Now you will notice it's taking a few moments for it to initialize the recording. I have seen this take up to a couple of minutes, probably depending on broadband and etc. That was actually pretty quick. I think we're probably under 15 seconds there. It just loaded the video. So this is what they're going to see. What I really like about this is this nice big presenter area right here where you can see the talking head of the student. And in here, in just a moment, you're going to see the PowerPoint in here. And if you had multiple presenters, again, simultaneously, you're going to see various video feeds right up in here. So let's see what this looks like, and hopefully you can hear it. I have turned on the hopefully the sound capture for system sounds, so you can hopefully hear this presentation. But let's go ahead and do that. All right, it is recording. I'm recording the best presentation. Now, if you can't hear it, again, it sounds great. It really sounds great. Part of a group project. Video looks relatively smooth. I mean, a little jerky, maybe 15 frames, 10 frames a second, but still good enough. Simply clicking the advance button to advance through the slides. And if I if I was in a group, again, looks really good. And I think the key is having a headset off the record by clicking deactivating the stop recording function. All right, so it looks really good. Do that. There we go. Are you sure you want to stop recording? Pick up the recording again at that point. So I think that's really cool. All right, so that is the presentation. Let's see if I could advance forward here. Clicking the little target button. Okay, so I'm done. Yep. All right, so that was that. You can see how remember I was playing around with the circles on there. All of that captured relatively, I mean, it looks really clean. There's not a lot of stuff on the screen other than the PowerPoint and the talking head. So I think this is a great solution for what we've got as far as a replacement for PresentMe. Keep in mind, too, that this could be used for other applications as well, far beyond that. As for the kind of regular web conferences, and let me minimize my picture up here. For regular web conferences, but right now we want to look at a presentation replacement. I think this will absolutely fit the bill. I'm sure there'll be some hiccups as we go through with this. Right now, though, I don't see any. One might be a little bit with navigation in that you're going to have all of your conferences, all these concluded conferences for your entire course are going to appear in here. So it might get a little unruly as far as all the conferences if you've got 30 students doing 30 individual projects. But I think it's still somewhat manageable, especially if you go through have a standard naming convention. Maybe it is their first name, last name, and then the name of the project, project one, project two, so students can easily navigate to watch a video when they see a list down here, which will be pretty extensive. It'd be about 30, 30 some odd students or more for your classes. All right, so here is the one Achilles heel for this product. Keep this in mind. This is a major, major warning on this. Right now, for what we have that comes free, I'm using air quotes right now, this is no additional charge for us with this. The presentations are only good for 14 days. After 14 days, they disappear. These conferences have, and I've been playing with this, they for the past few weeks, they do just drop off automatically after 14 days. Your recordings are only good for 14 days. So what that means is from the time they hit done, they click the done button, exit out, render their video, record their video, the link shows up, they've got the time clock is on for 14 days at that point. Your peer reviews will have to happen within that time period, and your grading, because once it's gone, there is no getting it back whatsoever. So do keep that in mind. I think that is doable for us as long as you do keep that in mind. You will want to make sure that that is clear with the students about that 14-day window. So you may have to tell them that videos must be recorded within this X time frame, whatever that might be. I've been talking to some instructors who are going to use this, and what they're going to do is they're going to say the video cannot be recorded any earlier, even if you wanted to. You can't record it any earlier than module 7. Okay, so even if they record it on, Monday, module 7, it's going to be good all the way through Monday, module 8, and then it will disappear on the Monday following module 8, which the course is going to be done. So you could do it that way. Record it 1 week, view it the next, grade and view within the next, because it's gone. Now, we may be looking at in the future, once we kind of get everything through with Canvas this semester, seeing if we can do some extended option, maybe a month, maybe a semester, I don't know. I know Dan is looking into that, but right now, live with the 14-day window and make sure you make that work with the assignment. All right, that concludes. Sorry about the long video, but this is a very, very exciting product for us. I think this solves a lot of our problems. Play with it. Give me your feedback as you're going through with this. There's going to be some trial and error, I'm sure. But right now, it appears that everything will work pretty great and probably be an upgrade from what we've had. All right, that concludes the video, and thanks for watching.